This week, we're going to be talking about grip. And could your grip be causing string slap like this? Oh, kiddo, I'm sorry. That really looks like it stings. But there's a few common errors that cause string slap and left and right misses for new archers. Stay with us as we show you the proper grip so you can avoid things like that. Now, we heard early in our series from Bill Thomas that the grip is the most critical part of shooting the bow, because that's the first point of contact with the bow and it's the last point of contact when we're shooting. So when I'm teaching young archers how to start to form that grip, what I'm going to have them do is get in that good stance, right? So they're going to stand on their little painted lines or their painted dots or their footprints that they outlined, and I'm going to have them get in that good shooting stance. Then I'm going to have them just put their hand up to me and say, stop. Now, we want like a 45-degree angle of our knuckles. Okay, so then I just have them turn their hand slightly. And you'll feel like there's a little bit of tension here built up in my forearm. And as I turn my hand 45 degrees, I can feel these muscles start to relax. Now, if you want to get like an over exaggerated feeling for that, twist your hand really far and feel how it pulls and it starts to shake. And twist your hand really far this way and feel how it pulls and it shakes. From here, though, if I just turn slightly, this is the natural position where my arm wants to be. All my bones line up down my shoulder, and my hand and my forearm become nice and relaxed. Now that we know what position we want our hand in, where do we connect the hand to the riser of the bow? And you look at a lot of diagrams out there, and I'll put this one up on the screen, is you want the center line of the bow to run down the thumb side of your lifeline, right, into that nice squishy muscle that you have in your thumb. And it looks like this, right? So if I drew a marker, if I took a marker and highlighted my lifeline on my hand, you see how it runs down kind of almost the center of my palm or the outer third of my palm, and it comes out the bottom of the wrist, right? And now we want that riser to run right down that center of the webbing of the hand, down this nice fat muscle of your thumb. Now, we want a loose grip on the bow because we want this muscle to be forgiving and let that riser sink into the muscle. Like you can feel it, right? If I'm just nice and relaxed, we can see the squishiness of my thumb, right? You can test this for yourself. Relax, see how it's squishy. Now make a fist and squeeze really hard and you feel how tense it gets, right? Or like try to like imagine you're gripping a basketball, right? You're gonna palm a basketball. Now feel how much tension's there. Well, a lot of tension in a round muscle is gonna let that riser of the bow rock back and forth. Now, if I can demonstrate properly, I'm looking at the camera, just what the proper grip does for you, right? So I get my stop, 45 degrees, up high into the tang, and I collapse the hand down on the center of the riser. Thumb pointed towards the target, fingers lightly touching the front of the riser, not any pressure. From there, good grip. Notice how the bow is pretty stable. Now, if I try to like squeeze the bow, we see how like my fingers can torque that string left or right, which could bring the string into the path of our arm and cause a right hand, like a right shot, or we can pull away and it'll cause a left shot. So nice and relaxed, 45-degree angle, compress, lightly touch, and it becomes very stable. Another common mistake that shooters make is they don't want to touch the bow at all. And so they come really high and they have a high wrist grip. Well, when you do this motion without collapsing the palm of the hand down, the bow becomes very rocky left and right and up and down. Could cause high and low misses. Left and right misses also become part of the problem there. The last thing I want to talk about when it comes to grip, right? We mentioned that we want the fingers on the front of the riser as lightly as we possibly can. That palm collapse down to the center line of the bow. But some people like to do this, right? Remember we just talked about if we sprawl our fingers, we try to grip it really hard, how that muscle in your thumb gets really tense and round. It's going to be the same problem, okay? The bow is going to become left and right, and you're going to have some issues pushing the heel of the bow up and down. So you might get some high and low shots as well. The last thing that comes from a sprawled grip is what some people would call like pre-ignition movements. right? Because you're scared you're going to drop your bow, and right before you shoot with an index finger, you might want to have this tendency to grab the bow, right? And as I grab the bow, I can't do the same thing every single time. One time the pin goes this way, one time it goes left, it goes up, it goes down. And grabbing that bow is going to introduce movement into your sight housing, movement into your shot. It's going to make you less accurate in the long run. How do you know if your grip is correct? Well, you have to shoot the bow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 arrows, I'm going to shoot it, then I'm going to show you the impression of my riser, of my grip on my thumb, because you should see a nice distinct like red line right down the thumb side of my lifeline. Good stance set up. Now I'm going to 45-degree angle, web in the hand goes to the tang of the bow, hand collapses down, fingers just touching the riser. Draw, put my pin on the target, come in the anchor. Not really shooting for accuracy here, just kind of getting some shots so we can see how consistent my grip is. Hit on the target, climb into your anchor. One more time, 45-degree on the grip, web of the hand goes high in the tang, we collapse down on the riser, fingers lightly touching the front, hit on the target, come into your anchor. Okay, so let's take a look at my grip. Now you can see on my hand a nice red line that's pretty crisp down the center of my thumb. That's what we're looking for. Now if your grip, your palm turns all red, or you have red stripes down the outside of your lifeline or towards the thumb hand side more, your grip is probably incorrect. With bow season right around the corner, your grip can make or break your whitetail season. If you're going to spend some time in the yard flinging arrows this week, focus on your grip. Take some time. Make sure you burn it into muscle memory. So when that big moment arrives, you put your hand high in the tang, you collapse down to the grip, your hand stays soft, your fingers lightly touch the front of that riser, and so you don't torque your shot left or right. Thanks for stopping by this week. Shoot straight, and we'll see you next time.